If you were to think of an ugly Lamborghini, you'd likely think of the Urus, or perhaps the even worse but more obscure Lanzador. Perhaps even the LM002, which I actually have a soft spot for. I think it's mad despite its cube-like appearance. What you might not think of is the Lamborghini Genesis. It is technically a Bertone, but it was very much made for Lamborghini and used Lamborghini parts. Info on this is relatively scarce. I mean, if you'd created this, you wouldn't really want anyone knowing about it. It'd be the equivalent of providing detailed information on your hideous fungal infection for the world to see. You wouldn't be doing that, and you wouldn't want anyone to look at this, but sorry, but I'm going to give people as much information as I can. As you can see, the Genesis is an MPV, which, even without all the other insane factors, was incredibly radical for the time. I believe only the Chrysler Town and Country was actually in production at the point that the Genesis was revealed at the 1988 Turin Auto Show, and the Town and Country wasn't around for very long, and it wasn't an instant hit either. The Genesis had more outlandish features than just the unusual looks. That's the nicest way I can put it. It actually had gull-wing doors at the front, believe it or not, and it had the usual MPV sliding doors at the rear, but having gull-wing doors and then normal doors at the back, it makes it sort of a reverse Tesla Model X, although somehow the Lamborghini is slightly more appealing to the eye. The interior too was really bizarre, even taking into account this was the MPV's, well, Genesis, so they hadn't really nailed down the idea yet. It was only a 5-seater despite the size and bulk, and had 2 front bucket seats placed over where the engine would be. The rear seats were normal in their design, but the way they were arranged wasn't. They were in a V shape, with the middle seat being further forward, and it could even swivel 180 degrees so it could face backwards. Just look at it. Is this not the most insane interior you have ever seen? Like, I think it's even more absurd than the outside of the car, which, when I first saw pictures of it, I didn't really believe that was possible, but so it is. I mean, concept or not, it just boggles the mind how they thought this made any degree of sense, but it probably wasn't designed to make sense. Now, for the powertrain, the insanity would continue as the car was reportedly powered by the same 455 brake horsepower engine you'd normally find in the Countach QV, and it was mated to, ironically, a Chrysler gearbox to 3-speed torque-flight automatic transmission. The Genesis likely would have been far, far slower than the Countach due to weighing 2 tons, that aforementioned transmission, and, most of all, having similar aerodynamic qualities to the White Cliffs of Dover. When it was revealed, production of the LM002 had ended, so there was a production line available, but thankfully the car was never truly planned for production. It was just a wacky design study, which I think our eyes can all thank Bertone and Lamborghini for. I wish there was more info on this, because despite its hateful appearance, it is a really interesting piece of Lamborghini's history and just an interesting concept in general, because there are only really 3 fast MPVs I can think of: the Vauxhall Zafira and Meriva VXRs, and the Mercedes R63 AMG, and the Vauxhalls didn't have a crazy engine in them, and whilst the Mercedes did, it was more of a luxury tourer in the same vein as a Mercedes S63, and it wasn't designed for pure, loud, flamboyant speed in mind. So yeah, it's a very unique idea, especially if it had made it, but again, looking at it, there was no chance, at least not in its current form, and even then, you can't really picture Lamborghini making an MPV, even when they were truly wild and doing all manner of absurd things. But yes, if you'd like to see more on obscure cars, or maybe just want to see more of my content in general, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and hopefully you've had a great day or night or evening or wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.